Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thanks for joining me. Now, this time I'm going to talk about the WWE Network. And if you're not a fan of the WWE Network, that's fine. You don't care about pro wrestling, that's cool. This is for those people that do. I know it's not my normal content here, but it's the news and it's in the news right now. So I figured let's have a talk about it. So, are you a subscriber to the WWE Network? If so, listen up. We've got some changes coming for you. If you haven't heard yet, WWE's WWE Network is going to go away. It's basically going to merge with the Peacock from NBC Universal, and it will no longer exist as of roughly March 18th, about 2 weeks from WrestleMania. They'll be making a switch over to the Peacock. Now, you may be wondering, why? Money, of course. It's always about the money, right? They are looking at basically a $1 billion deal over the course of 5 years. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is NBC Universal and the Peacock going to get out of it? I'm going to guess the thought is they'll have more viewers, therefore their ad revenues can go up for the ad-supported stuff and things like that, right? And that's probably where they're thinking. And they're probably thinking they'll get more subscribers, more people watching. And WWE probably thinks the same. WWE probably thinks they're going to be getting the same extra bump. They think more people from on the Peacock are going to want to watch their content. Therefore, they'll go watch the Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursday shows or Friday shows. But that's not going to happen, not unless they change dramatically the product that they are giving us. As a wrestling fan, WWE has become absolutely boring and predictable. Literally, I can turn on a show and know exactly what's going to happen each match all the way down to the end because it's so freaking predictable. Every storyline is exactly the same. And then when they actually wrestle, there's not much to it. You see how fake it is. And the one thing about professional wrestling, yes, it's scripted. Yes, it's fake. But so are TV shows and movies. And the fight scenes in TV shows are far more convincing than what I see in a pro wrestling match these days. At least from WWE. There are other options out there for wrestling fans, even if you're a fan of the WWE. Impact Wrestling seems to be doing pretty good nowadays with actually having talent. AEW with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's there along with Matt Hardy and a number of other people. It's a great program. Some of the storylines you kind of it's kind of cringy. But that's pro wrestling. But at least when they're in the ring and they're wrestling. It looks like they're having a fight. And that's all I ask for is that it looks like it. This G rating garbage that we have going on with WWE right now is disgusting. For somebody like me who grew up watching wrestling through the 90s and into the Attitude Era and beyond, and then we're going to see this, that's why I flip into AEW when I can on Wednesdays. Because it's at least got the feel. Even if the wrestlers aren't the same, but it's the same thing. It's people that they feel like they're fighting for their lives, it seems like. Even if the storylines are bad. But WWE is not going to make a huge dent in their users or their watchers, their viewers of their content if they don't correct their problems. The problem isn't where the network is. The problem is nobody wants to watch your product because it's terrible. When shows like GTS Wrestling here on YouTube, from Grimm, is far more entertaining, you're doing something wrong, WWE. With all the stuff you have at your disposal, you choose to run a vanilla, boring wrestling promotion. Nothing entertaining, hardly. One of the last times I saw a fight or a match that looked like they were actually fighting was Edge versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania last year. And yes, the Undertaker match was probably the match of the year. Him and AJ Styles at WrestleMania. But guess what? That was more of a theatrical event. The fans don't want to see people look, that where it looks fake. We already know it's fake. At least try. Movies are fake. But they look like they're beating each other up, don't they? Now, I really don't know what to think about all this mess going on. It seems like WWE thinks this is going to solve their problems, and maybe financially it'll give them a lot of money. But it's kind of weird because when they started the network, part of the reason they wanted to start the network is so they didn't have to follow other networks' rules. But now, just when you think we're going to start pushing away from the G and PG rating, maybe sneak over to PG-13, they get sucked right back over money to their G rating. Now, I understand that wrestling in general is for kids. But I remember being a kid, and when wrestling got stupid, I quit watching. It's no different now. I've been a pretty avid watcher of WWE content for years. Even with my favorite wrestlers retiring, basically, or not really being in the ring anymore. But it doesn't make any sense to do this for NBC anyway. It doesn't make sense from WWE's standpoint, at least from when they introduced the network. Their reasoning for the network was to be able to do what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it, without anybody else's input. And now they're going to have NBC breathing down their neck on that. They already have that with Raw and SmackDown. They got Fox breathing down their neck telling them what to do on SmackDown. They got NBC breathing down their neck on freaking everything else. On Monday Night Raw and NXT. So I don't think this fixes anything, but I do think it'll have some value for WWE Network subscribers. Once everything gets done and you get merged over to the Peacock, I don't think you're going to have any problems. I think you'll be fine. I think you, as the viewer, will be entertained because you'll have more things to watch. But I don't think it's going to really flip over for WWE. I don't think the people that have the Peacock but never wanted the WWE Network are going to give two shits about whether or not the WWE Network content is on the Peacock. Because they're going to still be watching what they want to watch. Now, the Peacock, it's got a lot of good programming. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I've had it in the past. Right now, we're using the free version of that. But, it's got the two price points, $4.99 with ads, $9.99 without ads. I don't think you really lose any value as a WWE customer unless NBC's like, oh, no, we can't have this or that. And so far, that hasn't been discussed, but I'm scared that some of that's going to happen. Because they've got a lot of good content on the network. But, if you're a fan of, like, Saved by the Bell, when I was growing up, Saved by the Bell was big. We had things like Punky Brewster that were big. Got reboots of both of those. The reboot of Punky Brewster is coming in the near future. They have the entire series, for example, of the original series of that and Saved by the Bell on the Peacock. And they got some movies and other things like that, too. And they got some original content coming. So I don't think it's going to be a bad value for you, the viewer, whether you're a person that's got the Peacock already or you got the network already, or if you had both. If you had both, then it's more power to you because you're going to save money in the end from the looks of it. Because it looks like the price point for the Peacock will remain the same, even after the merger. And I hope that's the case because that would be awesome to be able to watch NBC shows and occasionally watch a pay-per-view if I feel the urge. I have a YouTube channel, by the way, called The Wrestle Show here on YouTube. Check it out if you get a chance. I plan to start making more videos there, too. More content about WWE, AEW, and maybe even Impact Wrestling. And finally, I live in an area where I can watch Ring of Honor. So, I may start doing more wrestling videos and stuff. We'll see what happens down the future. But check it out. I got some top 5 lists over there on that channel. You could watch them and everything. And subscribe. And thing is here as well. Like, subscribe, share. And I'll see you down the road.